Welcome to Art Bazaar, a podcast that chats with artists of all types to explore the depths of creativity. Brought to you by The Alternative Gallery. We'll be releasing new episodes every Wednesday with bonus episodes dropping randomly. If you like what you're hearing, you can support this podcast by going to thealternativegallery.com and clicking on the podcast tab. I'm your host, Brandon Wonder, creative director of The Alternative Gallery, a non-profit arts organization in Allentown, PA, run through the efforts of dedicated volunteers. And on this episode of Art Bazaar, we'll be chatting with Ramel Harold, aka Beazthype, a dancer, creator, and all-around entertainer. Ramel is part of the DCX crew and also the founder and organizer of the Pak Out, an annual Krump event for the Pak Movement. The Pak Out 2 is happening here at the Alternative Gallery on Friday, October 20th and Saturday, October 21st, and will showcase Krumpers from across the planet, taking part in various battles, workshops, and a tournament where dancers will be competing for cash prizes. It's sure to be one hell of an event. Ramel, welcome to Art Bazaar, brother.
Man, let's go. Hey, I'm happy to be here. It's been a long time coming. Congratulations on this.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, man, this is a really dope setup, and I'm happy to be here, man. Let's get it going.
You were very high on the list when we were getting ready to start this podcast.
Oh, man.
Out of all the collaborations we already have together,
yes.
Some amazing conversations we've had, some on the roof.
Oh, yeah, those.
And I always told you that when this happens, this is going to happen.
And this is one thing I love about the Alternative Gallery and your vision for it, just to give you your flowers in my most respectable way. It's like you follow through with what you say. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to come across people that can keep their word, and actually stick through with it, no matter how hard it gets. And I kind of feel the same way about this event, So I draw inspiration from that. Like, there was a point in time where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And it wasn't even a matter of the venue. We have that relationship and it works. But I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it. I already said it.
Organizing stuff,
the flyers are out. I'm like, I gotta follow up. So,
once you commit, you're committed.
Yeah.
Then if you fail very publicly and spectacularly, right?
That's right. If you're going to go out on your shield.
Well, and I appreciate the kind words, man. I think part of the reason it's so necessary for me to follow through on things is there's so much disappointment in life.
Yes.
So many people, like, they either have good intentions and don't follow through or just lying to your face to begin with.
Yes.
But I want to be the kind of guy where you never question what I have to say.
Correct.
I want you to know that everything that's coming out of my mouth is true.
Yeah.
At least to the best of my ability.
Yes. And that's one thing that you've given off, like, since we first started chatting about the event last year, just you being able to trust in my vision. Like, you know what? Never did a Krump event here in PA in general, so we made history. You know what I'm saying? And, we're all about history.
Hell yeah.
We love our history. So from that alone, you allowing me to follow through with that vision and let me follow up on my word, and you still exercising that after the fact, other collaborations we've done with the artist meetups, the meetings we had discussing this vision.
Even just practicing here.
Yeah. Those side conversations. So it's just a huge inspiration to, again, be around company that follow up on their word.
Well, I think it's so important that this is what we do. We have to inspire each other. Because I've said it before, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're not motivated, if you're not inspired, you're not going to do anything with it.
That's a fact.
And it's like one of the most depressing things to me is wasted talent.
Oh, yeah.
What could have been?
There's a lot of that too, man, in our community, in the art form that I take in dance. Like, it's easy to let the comparison factor settle into your mind with social media being so big. And, comparison is a thief of joy, So the moment you see someone might get to a certain level that you're aiming for, you start to compare. Like, why am I this age and he's younger and he's there? You got to look at it as your own story. So the point of inspiring each other is to find your why in your own story. Everybody has their own story. There's a ton of success stories from Steve Harvey being homeless from the age 30 to 33 years old, and look how successul he is.
Yeah, now he's the butt of the internet jokes with the AI memes.
Yeah, it's insane.
Steve Harvey, hardcore band. Yeah,
the AI Yo, that whole AI, everything AI is insane.
Yeah.
Like from the singing, SpongeBob singing songs, Goku, all types of wild stuff.
It's funny because you're touching on so many things that we talk about here in the podcast, like, AI being one of them. But what you had mentioned about people not comparing themselves to someone else.
Yes.
2 episodes ago, I was talking about that. And it's a big piece of advice I always give to adults is don't compare yourself to anyone else. I say that because it's something I did as a filmmaker in my early 20s, looking at other filmmakers and directors that I looked up to and be like, this guy did this film at this age and I haven't done anything.
Right.
If I want to be the next Spielberg, I should have started 5 years ago.
Right.
And it would take the wind out of my sails before I ever put the sail up.
Yeah. Yes. Whoa.
Right.
Whoa. Yeah. That's a gem. Like, it's taking the sails out before you even do it. Yeah. I mean, like, bro, like, it'll kill your joy for what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, that spoke to me crazy because I had those thoughts. I had different aspirations as a dancer. I took a big break from Krump between 2014 and 2018.
So before we go any further, because a lot of people listening, they might not know what Krumping is.
Okay.
Can you explain to the best of your perspective what Krumping is? Yeah,
man. Krump is a very high energy, spiritual, and intense dance style. Originated out in California. It has 5 creators, which will resonate within Little C, Big Miho, Todd Eyes, Dragon, Miss Prissy, and even honorary creator J Smooth. So it originated with the acronym Krump is spelled KRUMP. It used to, it still does for some people, and it still does for a lot of us, but it stands for Kingdom Radically Uplifted Mighty Praise. So it is a spiritual dance in that sort. But yeah, man, it's something that I found in the movie Rise, which was a huge phenomenon in the street dance world and in the dance world. It was a new dance style being on the big screen for the first time. And that inspired me to want to do this dance style when I was in middle school. And from there, I just used to watch it over and over again, copy a few moves to get it down. And I'm a dancer in general, So when I found Krump, it was early on and I just stuck with it. And it's just like my masterclass style that I really invest my all into. So that's what Krump is to me. And yeah, man, it's worldwide now. It's all over the place. You can find it on TikTok. All you got to do is just type in Krump in the search bar and you'll see all types of styles and which you'll see at the event as well. And that's the beauty of it too. It's international now compared to what it was before.
Do you consider it kind of like an offshoot of breakdancing or anything like that?
Well, it is it's its own style, but it is a hybrid style in the sense of you do have to utilize elements of popping in it. There are hybrid Krumpers that use b-boy influence within their style. Krump is a very young dance. It started off late 90s, early 2000s, so it's shy of 20 years old. So it's still young compared to breakdancing, compared to popping,
absolutely,
locking, So it has to borrow from some of those elements, but it's still its own original dance style. So you could say it's in the same company as breaking and all that because, believe it or not, there was a DVD that came out way back in the early thousands called Breaking versus Krump. It was monumental. It was the creators versus very high-level breakdancers and poppers, and it was really, really cool and successful. So they already kind of had that.
That sounds really dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ultimately, it's starting to get its respect, I would say, the last 5 or 6 years as a dance style in certain all-style events and stuff like that. But yeah, you can say it's in the same company as breakdancing and other styles.
When you first discovered Krumping when you were in middle school, was anyone else doing it or were you kind of on your own?
Oh, yeah. We had a tribe. It was a village, In Bethlehem, in the Pembroke projects, right? We used to have a crew called PBK, Pembroke Krumpers. That's when my love for it really grew. It wasn't just me. It was me and a few others. And we started off as 5 of us. And there's footage on YouTube if you just type PBK at Music Fest. I believe it was the year 2007 or 2008 when we performed.
Now, was this an official performance?
Yeah.
Or, really?
Yeah, it was on a Music Fest stage and everything. Like, the stage they have set up in the tents. Yeah, there was about 25 plus of us, man. And
shit,
the movement was strong for a while. But, you learn as you get older in school who did it as a trend and who really loved it.
Hell yeah.
So I stuck around because I really loved it, and it's still with me today. And those that did it before are surprised that I still do it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are those guys still dancing anywhere? They kind of just moved on to different things entirely.
There's a good staple 3 that I know I can hit up, and be like, hey man, if you really want to get back in it, I'm only I'm around the corner, just hit me up. But majority don't dance anymore. They have videos on YouTube of them doing it. It's pretty funny. We have ton of YouTube channels that have all this old footage, but yeah, ultimately they don't do it no more.
Yeah.
But there's a few that still do it that stuck around from that time though.
So you kept it going this whole time, and it kind of culminates in you hosting this event here that you threw for the first time last year.
Yes, sir.
Called the Pak Out.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about the Pak Out, that first one, what it was like, why you did it?
Yeah. So when I made a return to Krump from taking a big break, I said I owe my state my time to rebuild and see if we can make something out of ourselves as a state, because we're spread out between us and here in the APE area, Lancaster. We got members in Pittsburgh. We got members in Philadelphia and Westchester. It'll expand eventually. So I decided to come up with this name, this movement, along with my other half, the main leader, Theo. Gorilla Grodd is his dance name. Twin Freak Show is another one. And he basically is my right-hand man as a leader within this movement. So we created PAC. I launched it to him. I was like, hey man, how about, us being the two superpowers of this state come together and let's make a movement. So from there, man, it was pretty much history. That was created in 2020. I gave it a good 2 years to get going, and then that's when I approached you with the idea, and you said, yo, I like it, I believe in it, let's do it. And then the Pak Out was something that I thought like maybe it'll help our movement grow, help the other Krump movements come and see us, bring traffic into our communities so they can experience different artists, because us as Krumpers or dancers, when we go to other places, we like to explore where we're at.
Awesome.
And I'm always on the away team, so I know this from experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you said that in the one meeting we had. You talked about the importance of the home team.
Yeah, and that's another reason.
That really resonated with me too, man.
Yeah, and that's where we click, right? Because we also spoke about artists getting to a certain point and just feeling like they have to leave or go to the West Coast or go to New York and just to succeed. And I'm like, bro, we have so much here. So much here we can create. So much here we can originate. You know what I'm saying? So the Pak Out, I'm like, I don't mind going to other Krump events. I'm still going to fly out. I'm going to do my thing, but we need something here, And
prior to this, I think I remember you telling me there weren't any Krumping events at all in Pennsylvania?
No.
So the event here in 2022 was the first one in the state?
The first one in the state.
How the fuck did that happen?
Let me tell you something, man. It happened with the help of the crew, staying a crew and understanding the vision. You feel me?
But how did it take so long? No one else decided to do this?
I could tell you because, PA Krump in general was very spread out early on. Mm-hmm. Like I thought it was only here when I started, when I was younger, I can tell you, like, as I've gotten older within it, I would do my solo trips and just go and experience other places. So when I was younger doing Krump, it wasn't in my mind to establish the state and have an event here. Now, I'm pretty sure like other cities like Pittsburgh, Westchester, we had little events within our communities, but nothing major to where other people are coming out. It was kind of like our communities would come in and just throw it amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? So it took me until I got older and realized my role in this dance, which is a leader, and that was my natural role in dance in general. They always put me in that role.
So for a while, you were an observer until it was time to become the leader, the doer.
Yeah, like when I did my regular dancing, I had a crew with a few others called Versatix, and we did Music Fest performances as well. Tried out for America's Best Dance Crew. We were a crew. I'm a team player first, but sometimes my colorful personality can steer people to be like, yo, you just be the leader. You know what I'm saying? Because they always wanted me to choreograph, and they'll help choreograph and do formations, but they wanted me to be the main one behind it because they trusted me, and I just embraced it from there. So from there, leading into coming back into Krump off of doing that, because that was during my break, kind of forced myself into that role, and it was natural, and I just embraced it in the most humble way. And then it got me to 2020 with the Pak Out and all the people that came out, man, and they keep talking about this place and the experience they had at the gallery and in the city and how chill it felt. They felt very comfortable. It had a very welcoming, comfortable feel for them. A lot of them come from different places, from Buffalo, from like Springfield and Boston, hood places. And we have our hood places here too. But we also...
Most would say this place is kind of in the hood.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I think complements what we do.
Exactly. It just shows that we just trust our community that much. Like, you can say what you want, but they're going to do right by us because we do right by ours.
Well, and we know we don't got to be in a shopping district to make shit happen.
Come on, talk about it.
And this is the neighborhood I grew up in, man.
Exactly.
So it's like, for me, it's really powerful to be here.
Yes, and I'm from Allentown. I grew up on South Penn Street. So before I moved to Bethlehem, I moved after my elementary school years, man. So it always feels like home when I'm here. I go to Valania Park here and there. I meet my dad over there at Valania Park. That was a park I used to always go to. If you know, you know. That's a legendary park in Allentown. But yeah, man, the Pack Out, coming together and realizing that's the first PA Krump event, doing it here with people that I know will appreciate that and want to continue that. That was the best feeling for me.
And you know what? Like, there is absolutely a culture to Krump.
Yes.
When we first started the Alternative Gallery, obviously we consider ourselves an art gallery first, maybe a performance venue. But over the years, I've kind of matured my stance on that to considering this a cultural center.
Yes, yeah.
And
yes,
I don't
sir.
want to just host events. I want to support cultures, especially emerging cultures or maybe unknown cultures. Because otherwise, like National Geographic said years ago that every 90 days we lose an undocumented language.
Wow.
Every 90 days. And there's a language, even if it's not verbal language, body language. You know, there's a whole culture behind it. And if you don't give something a place to grow, then it just doesn't go anywhere or goes away.
Correct.
And I know that you said that there's been a lot of concern with people holding crumping events because they feel it's related to gang.
Yeah. I've reached out to other venues, and I could tell that could be a part of why they may not want to have these events. But I will say it's been like that for a while, especially when it first got popular. So it was hard. And I guess you can say that can be part of the reason why it was harder to throw events early on.
But it's crazy to me because like what I saw last year when you did the first one, it was the exact opposite of gang violence.
It was unity.
It's like the thing that keeps people out of gangs.
Yes, and that's the whole point.
It's
and
uplifting.
I'm glad, Kingdom radically uplifted, mighty praised. Like, it's crazy because that's what it's for. You have conflict with somebody, look, I need those rounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, hey, next event, me and you we got to run that.
Yeah, because it's such high energy afterwards. You don't got the energy to beef anymore.
Exactly. You got the energy, go out, you know what I'm saying, get something to drink, smoke, whatever, like now y'all get to chop it up about the battle and be like, yo, you was getting me here. Yeah, but I feel like you got me here. And that's how it is. It's almost like back in the day, it's harder for people to fight with hands now. A lot of people can't take a butt whooping, but that's what it was. You fight it out, talk about it, like, hey bro, you good? You good? All right, cool. Let's talk about it, let's chop it up. Now you be the best friends. So Krump in our community, I can definitely say, personally, when it was younger for me, it definitely helped us stay centered, to stay away from the gangs and the drugs and the things that were driving through Pembroke, because that was a hood area. That was the projects. Even older folks used to call it the village. You know what I'm saying? So it had a reputation of these bad things, and I've seen it all. So I already knew where I would have gone. I know I'm strong-willed, but I would have eventually, being young as I was, subsided to it. But that's why I'm always thankful for the dance, or dance in general.
If you didn't have that, do you think you would have went down that path?
Honestly,
that dark path?
I don't think I would have, but I probably would have tried some things that I do, alcohol and stuff like that. I might have tried it sooner when I was younger if I were not occupied with dancing and practicing and stuff like that. So video games and dancing really saved me, for real.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the arts are so important, because when people have something to focus on, it kind of shapes not only their structure, but how they look at the world.
Yes.
Like, you probably don't want to be hungover while you were dancing.
Exactly.
So, I got to be in shape for this, man. I don't want to feel like shit, then it's a waste of a practice.
I mean, that's a fact. And like I said, I've seen some of my friends, they did things early on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I can't get into that. So
I had
not
some
for
of those
nothing.
friends too.
You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
I'm like, oh, come on, you should. I'm like, bro, trust me, I'm better this way. I'm better sober. Y'all got it. I don't need to do that to have fun. And that was my biggest thing, man. I used to throw up like the mini cross against stuff like that, like, smoking and stuff like that. And I used to be like, you can't be doing that. I used to lose friends for that, bro.
Wow. You were a good little kid, huh?
Yeah, I really was, man.
Little goody two shoes.
I really was. I was I was pretty strong-willed for a young kid, man. I think it's
Good for you,
because
man.
I live with my mom. It was just me and my mom for a minute. That matured me quick. Just having my parents explain their backstories and have them be transparent with me, so I didn't do those things. So knowing the bad stuff they did helped me not do those bad things.
Oh, dude, I'm a big believer in parents being honest with kids.
Yes.
It's a lot better than just bullshitting them.
Yes, and I think that you saying that is what went through my head. I'm like, yo, this is really cool, right? You're able to be this transparent with me at this age because you guys believe in my maturity. So let me not fuck that up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me not be that kid that gets in trouble. And I never really got in trouble, man. I Never got like suspended or anything like that. I didn't have the desire to. It's not like I held back or I really was a good kid, bro. It's funny. I really was though. Like I wasn't like belligerent, but
I'm glad you had that structure. And now, you're teaching. I saw you're doing the Krump program at Central Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Allentown.
Yeah, we are starting that up, I believe, this Wednesday. So we're going to get going with the kids there. 3-month project, man, and we're going to see how that goes. And the goal here is for them to want to keep crumping after.
And probably a lot of these kids have no idea what crumping is.
Correct. That's the best part. That's the fun part for me. Like, you don't know? Great. You get to learn. For people that can teach you properly, the right ways, the right things about it, and the fun in it.
You get to be the first person in the actual school district to teach these kids this, man.
Yeah, it's going to be...
That's incredible.
It's going to be me and my partner, Darren Barron. He's my little homie in Krump as well. He also helps film the Pack Out event.
That's right. Yeah, videographer.
Yeah. Very important figure.
He does great work, too.
Yes, shout out to you, Darren Barron. What's going to be our program, man? We're going to be in there again, making history.
How did that come about? Did you approach a school district?
No. They watched our content and they contacted Darren, I believe, via Instagram, and then he mentioned how I taught him to begin with, and they said it'll be great to have both of us. So he contacted me. So,
and you know what? That says a lot about the school district, in my opinion, that they're looking for these types of things.
Yeah, the meeting was very, very cool because she was very serious about these kids having this outlet. So they're seeing things there and they understand they need an outlet. And they were stressing that. And we live for that, because that's what we needed it for. So it's easy to draw from that. We know how to teach that to these kids because we lived it. We can understand like, hey, if things aren't going well, use this.
Is this like an after school thing?
Yeah, after school program.
Do you know how many kids roughly?
We will find out.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So it's one of those things where it's just cemented in, and from there, whether it's 3, whether it's 10, we're gonna see, and maybe it might start a lot and may shrink down, but either way, it's about having one of those children leaving there, wanting to still do this dance style, wanting to understand how to use it, to stay out of trouble, to stay busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much you can do with it now.
Yo, you're gonna change. You're gonna change lives with this program.
That's the plan, brother.
Because you know what? Unfortunately, these kids here in Allentown, they have access to like nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so grateful that we're in this neighborhood.
Yes.
I mean, these kids, they don't even get an art class anymore. So when we have the Saturday art classes here, for free. These kids, they go and they wake up the other kids to make sure they're at class. It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible for us to be able to provide that, but it's depressing that any kid that doesn't live close enough to this building isn't getting that, which is why I'm so desperate to have us be able to do more.
Yes.
And for people to steal this idea, steal what we're doing.
Yes,
copy us.
please. Yeah.
I'm not going to call you Biter. Just do this shit. We need more of it.
We need it. It's not a matter of who did it first or anything. It's a matter of continuing it, being consistent about it. You know what I'm saying? More than one program's like, no more art classes is crazy to me. Like,
they have so they have, it's not like they have absolutely zero, but they don't have dedicated art teachers any longer.
Right.
So Monica, our director of education here, she's one of the people that goes into the school district and teaches these kids classes from time to time. So she's a rotating teacher. She's not dedicated to just one school.
Oh, wow.
So they get a couple art classes a year. If they get 5 or 6, that's a lot.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
that needs to change, dog.
That's where we're at. And then, then we're at the phase right now of overdevelopment in our city.
Yeah.
And more children are going to start entering the school district, which we already can't take care of. And it's not just on government to fix this. I feel this is a social issue, and the community should be stepping up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly, whether you know it or not, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that around full circle, because you made that much more clear to me that is what's happening with this program. Because yes, we need them to be more involved with art forms of all sorts. Your program, this program,
and I would even recommend that you encourage those kids to teach other kids that outside of class.
100%. Oh, yeah. You got siblings older than you, show them what you learn. Show them something. Because at the end of the day, it's going to grow them, their confidence. That's another thing, their confidence.
And then when the Pack Out 3 happens next year, some of those kids will be there at the very least to watch and have their minds blown.
And we're going to have a youth tournament next year.
Dope.
So, dude,
you are setting this up perfectly.
Yeah.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? So, I want youth from I'm telling you, there's a ton of crumping kids, man, that are from 4 years old. And it's amazing to see because they're so tapped in. It's not just bullshit. They are tapped in and they're doing
Well, one of the
stuff.
things is that you have to be super focused with this.
Yes.
Because it is, like you said, high energy.
Yes.
It's very spiritual.
Yeah.
The fact that it's arrhythmic, it's not on beat in the same way that traditional dance is.
Yeah.
But it is still rhythmic in its own way.
Yeah, you can play with so many rhythms within a song too, man. Like and just like you say, it's arrhythmic. Yeah, it could be, because there's a lot of tracks where you don't have to be on beat to still get your point across. Yeah, it's a very primal dance too, man. It's primal. It's organized madness, I like to say.
It really reminds me of a lot of African tribal rituals and ceremonies I've seen over the years.
There's actually I'm glad you said that. There's a scene in Rise where they tap back to those times and they show them doing those rituals and those dances. Yes. So
it's fun.
It's crazy.
I gotta watch this documentary because when
watch Rise, man.
when
That's the one.
Paulie was on here for the Break and Steel episode, he mentioned it too. And I asked him what Krump is. I was like, you got to ask Ramel. but then he references that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that. It's like, that's like the second time you hit on something that relates relates to what we're talking about. And you didn't really realize it, but there's literally a scene where they're comparing and contrasting. And yes, so a lot of that is related to the movement and how it is and where it could stem from. Like, the creators have each contribution to the style, and it's so cool because there's a face of Krump. There was for years, and it was Tie-Dyes and Miho. You know what I mean? They are the main creators, but the other creators brought their own element that's stuck within Krump and is passed on. You know what I'm saying? Like Dragon or Slayer, he's the essence of Krump. That's his role. That's the main role that he plays within Krump that he specializes in. He can teach you about the essence of it for hours. You got Miss Prissy. She brings, obviously for the women, she's a pillar for women, but also she was the first one to implement modern and ballet into her Krump.
Wow.
So it's really, really dope to see because she keeps the intensity and the raw energy within Krump,
but she weaves in this other form.
Yes,
so
she's she do like a show Krump and do like a split and hold the split while she's standing up, and
this
then come down with it.
This is why I love artists, man. You never know what they're gonna pull out of it, man.
Yeah. Tie-Dyes is the technician. He's the fast, one of the main creators. Miho is the power, the ancestral Krump. When you see him Krump, shout out to Big Miho, shout out to Tie-Dyes, all the creators. When you see Big Miho Krump, it's like ancestral. It's very powerful. You can't help but feel it. Same thing with Tie-Dyes. He has that same feeling, but it's a faster, more intense, sharp. You know what I'm saying? So they have like the speed and power dynamic duo between them that make Krump what it is. And Little C is the other creator that brings like the subtle Buck vibe, the swag to it, the catty feel, and he's also very live with his Krump. So they all bring these elements, kind of like the Infinity Stones, if you will, all together, and they make Krump. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to have that.
Does that make you Thanos?
Hey, I ain't that good yet, but I tell you what, I guess you say Krump is Thanos, so let's just say that. Yeah.
So you said you travel for events. I'm curious where you've traveled and what those experiences were like.
Oh man, yeah.
Because I like the fact that you talked about like checking out places.
Yes.
I think when people go somewhere, not enough people actually check things out.
Correct. Some they just stay in a hotel room and they're too scared to go. I go outside, man. And I've been to New York, events in New York early on in my career in New York. That's where my second home is because I've been there so many times on the Transbridge buses back in the day when South Bethlehem had their own bus station. That was so clutch. But yeah, man, New York, Virginia, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So as far as East Coast, I've been up and down. Florida, I've been to an event there. Not an event there, but I've been to Florida for Krump once. And also, as far as the West Coast, I've been there twice so far. Both times were for Krump. So Wasteland, which is a part of the DCX crew that I'm in, that's our event thrown by Kill Bill. Shout out to Kill Bill. He's the one that's the creator and the founder of Wasteland events. So I was out there for Wasteland 2, and I went back out there for Wasteland 4, The Culture, because we're at 4 so far. So the title of it was For the Culture. That was last year.
And that's an annual event, I'm guessing?
Yes, sir. That's an annual event for Wasteland. Next year is going to be in Texas. So we're doing the Southside edition. Yeah, it's insane.
Dope.
Yeah, DCX crew, Demolition crew, we consist of a lot of superpowers. We're a very, very big crew. We stretch out all over the U.S., all the way out in France, Germany, DCX Japan, Spain.
So it's an international crew you're
International crew, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bears and bots, baby. Yeah, that's us, man.
And I guess you guys kind of come together for these pack out events, right?
Yeah, for events stemming from the Pack Out to Wasteland. They have Wasteland Halloween all the way overseas, so they do a French variation over there.
What?
It's our own superpower, so we help each other promote it and get the word out. So we utilize each other in the crew, as big as a crew as we are, to help each other as a family and just grow. You need help with this? Okay, I got you. Hey guys, can you share this flyer in your stories? You know, same similar thing we do with the artist meetups, like, hey guys, share this or whatever. It's the same thing.
And it's funny because in the world of dance and the world of art, Krump is very niche, but those niche things always seem to have the best support structures.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what so many people miss in like modern day America. They're kind of missing these smaller things that really are serious. I've talked about in past episodes with stores like Sears and Comic Masters, the comic book store in the Whitehall Mall.
Yeah.
You would think that Sears would have outlasted Comic Masters, but the exact opposite is true.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Wow.
Even though it's such, you know, on the surface, a tiny, tiny community, I mean, the event, the support, the promos, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The actual interactions and support for one another.
Yeah,
and you don't see that stuff for random music shows or art events and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm jealous that there's not a filmmaking consortium here in the Lehigh Valley that support me as a filmmaker.
Correct.
You know, an artist looking out for that's a big thing with those artist takeovers is I'm trying to like force more artists to have support for one another.
Yes.
Because when there's 100 artists in a room hanging out together, be like, this is dope, right? Now all these artists better be coming out to your event.
Exactly.
That's how it should be.
And
we got to support each other.
And that's exactly, yes, supporting each other. And remember I told you before throwing the pack out, I told you I paid my dues, right? I went out to all these events and I did exactly what you just said. I built those relationships. Hey, I'm coming out to this event, coming out, battling here, battling there. I'll chop it up, the network. So guess what? All those 2 years that I was doing, going to these events or whatever the case may be, is building a rapport for when I throw our event, right? So when that happens, it's, hey, can I battle here? Can I battle you? I'm pulling up. Is there a tournament? Whoop-de-whoop. So it gets bigger and bigger. So since the first one, this is highly anticipated part 2. Like, especially when they found out it was going to be here. And I'm not capping, bro. Like, I had so many questions of, is it going to be at that place again? I like that place. Yo, I seen footage of that place, you know? And they say that place because they don't know. They just see it. And I'm like, yo, it's the alternative gallery. Like, this is a staple for the Pack Out. If it's ever a time I'm like, hey, you know, it's always a yes. And it's a matter of how successful and how smooth things went the first time. And
yeah, we had no issues at all.
No issues.
Nothing.
The cleanup was fast. Like, one thing I will say, man,
everyone helped.
Everyone helped. Like, it was really community work, and we do the same thing at other Krump events too, you know? Because we understand we want to be a part of every single second of the event. We don't ever want it to end. Let's be real. You already know that.
Yeah, I know.
Because I was like, hey man, can we go downstairs? You're like, yeah, for like an hour. I'm like, okay, cool. They don't want to leave, man. Nobody ever wants to leave. Dance events in general.
Totally understand, bro.
You know, they just dap you up 5-6 times in a row.
But you know what? That says a lot.
I love that though.
That we have that for music shows too, and I love that. Like the event is over. Nobody has to be there anymore.
Right.
Those are the people that really want to do it. I love that, man.
I love it. I love just chopping it up. And it's just like one of those things where, like, I know you don't want to go. I don't go. Let's just talk about anything. Like, come on, bro. Like, and
hey,
that's the
playlist is on loop, man. Let's keep it going.
Right. And that's the energy, like, that I live for, man, with events in general, man, like concerts, you know, the breakdance events from Break and Steel, the Nothing But Style events, the Pack Out events, like just the mingling and networking and just communicating after is just beautiful, bro.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot more dance events here at the gallery moving forward. We used to have more like pre-pandemic, but a lot of those guys were organizing just are in different places now.
Oh, I got some ideas for sure.
And like now, because of like the Break and Steel, now Pack Out, we have new dancers being exposed to this place who are now hosting their own events because they were here for an event.
Yes, and you know how, that's what I was saying to you. I'm like, hey, I'm bringing them in because they're going to hit me up. Hey, yo, what was that? What was the name of that spot? Oh, the Alternative Gallery? Yeah. You think I can? Absolutely. Let me talk to him for you.
Yeah,
like,
we be down.
And that's the thing. And I got some ideas I'm going to run by you, obviously. Like, I definitely like knowing you want to do more. I'm like, you gave me the green light. It's up now.
Well, and you know what? Yours is a very special event because it's rare that we do a 2-day event.
Yeah.
I mean, so rare that the last time we did a 2-day event was your Pack Out event last year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what it was before that.
Yeah.
So for us to dedicate the venue on a Friday and Saturday because we're volunteer run, we're in the middle of a neighborhood, we don't want to have too many events to take up their parking.
Right.
It has to be something special.
It's going
so
to
for me
be,
to even agree to a 2-day event, that tells you how
100%.
special we think it is.
Of course. And that's where I'm like, bro, like you understand, but it's like you do. And I could easily say you don't just to say it, but I know you do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really, really important for me. Like, and it's high demand too, man. Like they just weren't budging unless they were both days were here. Like, and I'm like, I can see what I can do, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew how things are here as well.
Well, and I think, when it comes to doing these type of events, you need a guy like you and a guy like me.
Yes.
A guy like you that can properly communicate what your culture is. Because I'm not of that culture.
Correct.
So you have to do your best possible job to explain it to me.
100%.
And then I have to be on board to support that culture, even if it's not in a way that's just chasing money.
Right.
Which a lot of venues, that's their main focus for a number of reasons. But for us, that's not my main focus.
Yeah, that's the same, man. Like I there's a lot that goes into Krump events, man. Like, I have a title belt that I'll, make sure I get over to you.
You're like a wrestling belt, right?
Yes, sir. It's
Hell
insane.
yeah.
Remember last year was pretty crazy. You held it and everything. It was like pretty heavy. I'm like, yeah, bro.
It was heavier than I expected.
Bro, same company, but I have a very good creative mind when it comes to creating stuff. Like, so they look like totally different belts, same model, but different belts.
Sure.
And the belt matches the theme of the event. What the theme is, the flyers are red, big bright red, and black and white. So red, black, and white, and the strap is like red alligator. So it's fire. So I'll make sure I'll get you that after this. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome, man. I should have brought it in the studio, bro.
And you're a wrestling fan, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I love me some wrestling. I haven't watched it in a minute, but I always keep up with the bullshit. I always keep up with the bullshit, though. I know what's going on. We got Jade Cargill and WWE and AEW still rocking, but...
Yeah, AEW keeps picking up all those WWE drop-offs.
It's annoying. It's like another TNA, dude.
WWE is screwing up big time with dropping these wrestlers, man.
Yo, it's that Endeavor deal, whatever. That TKO belt thing and that whole Vince McMahon's not in charge. I did find out.
He as soon as he grew that mustache, he officially became a super villain.
Super villain, super suspicious. And I'm like, all that just to walk away from your company, bro? What's going on? What do you really have going on?
That guy is definitely out to bulldoze a community center.
I'm telling you, dog. He's bro. It's just like pro wrestling right now is pretty. I want to get back into it. It's good. I'm caught up in combat sports. MMA got me. That's what got me on the weekends all the time.
Really?
I'm a huge UFC guy, yeah. I love all that stuff, bro.
Yeah. It's a little too extreme for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of violence,
I like the soap opera aspect of WWE, and if they're hurt, it's like shit's over, pull them out of there. The second there's like the tiniest drop of blood, ref's got his gloves on.
It's UFC, it gets violent. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. There's been a few fights where I'm like,
yeah,
this is pretty primal, but I live for that stuff, man. I don't know. I guess playing the games and everything early on, it grew a love for watching it.
Yeah.
I am interested in the art of fighting. I am.
And you're a huge gamer too.
Yeah, I love the game.
What are you playing right now?
I'm playing Starfield. I'm playing a little bit of Starfield.
Okay.
I'm an RPG multiplayer guy. Cyberpunk got the new Phantom Liberty DLC.
Yeah, how's that?
Oh, it's fucking good, dog.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I got the 2077, not right when it first came out, a little after, and it was good. Super buggy.
Yeah, now they have with the DLC. It's the only reason why I'm back on it because I had it since it came out with all the bullshit.
Yeah. I heard it got a lot better.
A lot better. It's a 2.0 update. So if you ever end up playing it again, it's going to run a lot smoother.
Wow.
And it's playable again. So you'll definitely fuck with it now. So I'm on that. I've been on that for a little bit. I play Warframe and all types of games, but I play random stuff, bro.
Yeah, I love games, and I wish I had more time to play them.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, winter's coming up. Winter's more of the time where I feel less guilty about playing video games.
Right, because you got it's cold outside.
It's not just guilty. I mean, I guess it was that for a while. Now it's, taking care of the building. Like, right now I'm fixing the roof here. So that's like been months and months of work.
Right.
So unless we have massive snowstorms that I'm constantly cleaning, I don't have as much outdoor work to do.
Right.
But
that's true.
The last game I fully immersed myself in from beginning to end was Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, so you got you got PlayStation, so you got all the good multiplayer games.
Yeah. So that game kind of like saved me during the pandemic. That and GTA.
Oh yeah, GTA.
Just feeling like you were out in the world somewhere.
Yeah. Because that pandemic was hard, bro. It was hard.
Well, and I'm a huge like nut for Japan. Like I love Japan.
Yeah. They kill it every game, every single game.
But being able to play an open world game in ancient Japan,
I was jealous of you guys. I'm an Xbox guy, by the way, and I was jealous because I'm like,
you're allowed to have both, right?
I know
you don't have to choose.
I'm so stuck on just Xbox games.
Don't do it.
I did do this. I did do a boo boo. I had the Xbox One and I had the side piece PS4 on the side, I guess. Yeah. But I got it when God of War first came out and the new Spider-Man came out, so I had to play those. Yeah. So I had to play those, beat Horizon.
Zero Dawn.
Yeah, the first one, is that what it's called?
Zero Dawn, yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really good. I beat that. Yeah. And those are the main games I wanted to play on the PlayStation.
That game was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love where these games have gone, where they're essentially... They're films. They're interactive films.
Yeah.
Video games to me are some of the highest forms of art being created today.
Yeah, it's so hard to make.
There's been this weird like threshold crossing with movies and video games, where like video games have become more cinematic, and movies have become almost like video games as far as like
the plot.
I get more like the digital effects. I guess it's getting a little bit better, but for a long time, like think about like the Wolverine movie where they're really bad, like how the spikes still coming out of his hand.
That was when they pointed that out, I said, "Ooh,
yeah,
that's rough." That was rough, man. There's a lot of boo boos going on in the movie scenes where the CGI wasn't CGI. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. Special effects wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
No.
But video games have been on a cinematic run. Like even just going back to Cyberpunk and this DLC and the dialogue choices you got to make, all that is just cinematic in its own, and it's impactful. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I mean, Hollywood has kind of reshaped the world and how we look at and interact with entertainment.
It's crazy.
For better or worse, it's true. I mean, when anyone comes to America that's not from America, they usually want to go to Hollywood or New York City. If they're cultured, they want to go to Washington, D.C. Or New Orleans.
Yeah, I had a few foreigners that were like, hey, if I come out there, I want to go to Times Square. I'm like, listen, brother, we in Bethlehem.
Stay away from Times Square.
I said, don't do that. They're like, I'll drive. I'm like, all right, go ahead, bro. And don't do it. One time they got a rental, they were right in Bethlehem. They left early morning to go drive around Times Square just to come back. Hey, as long as they have fun, it is what it is.
No,
they love that area, man.
So I was a New Yorker for 5 years, and I just took some friends up there a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe it's still free, but for anyone that hasn't been to New York or hasn't done this yet, one of the great things you could do is take the South Ferry from the tip of Manhattan Island to Staten Island.
Whoa.
It's free. It's free.
Well, shit.
And it passes right by the Statue of Liberty.
So you get to get all your sights in and everything.
And you can bring beer on it.
Oh, that's tight.
You can have some drinks.
Okay.
They used to have a bar on it. I guess during the pandemic the bar closed.
Oh, damn.
But when I was living in New York, it was $3 for a beer on this boat. You couldn't get a beer that cheap anywhere in the city of New York, including bodegas.
That's rough.
The free ferry ride from Manhattan to Staten Island, you'll get yourself a $3 beer.
You got that motherfucker.
So that's much tight, that's much better than Times Square.
100%. I don't know why they run to that. It's all traffic, too much people.
Well, there's so much attention on it, and people see it in so many things. I feel like if something is popular, it must be right.
Yeah, that's foreigners. They don't know until they get here, right?
Yeah,
like, Times Square. Ooh. I'm like, sure, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then they're paying Elmo $30 for a
photo. yo, listen, man. You gonna see all the TikTokers out there. You gonna get real annoyed real quick.
So, in addition to you hosting events, you also MC a lot of events, right? What's the importance of a good hype man at an event?
Yeah, man. It's just keeping people engaged, making sure they're entertained, man, and interacting with them, interacting with the dancers. I have emceed and hosted dance contests where there's an actual audience in front of me. So it's all about just making sure you're vocal, you're clear, and you're just keeping them engaged, like making sure that the event is still going on, especially for the dancers. Like if you're emceeing an event, you want to make sure they have energy. later on in the night, you want to make sure they have energy when the crowd doesn't, so you can revive the crowd with that energy. You are the energy source of the event if you're the MC, essentially. So I try to uphold that.
And you know what? It's not just the energy; it's also the information. Like the last time when we had the Break and Steal event and you were emceeing it, I noticed you were very on point about what breaker, what crew was doing what at what time. Yeah,
that was hard for me too, because that was the first one, right? I remember I didn't know. So it was a 2v2, so I didn't know the individual breakers, but I made sure that was that crew, and I made it fun by giving them nicknames based off what they were wearing.
That's dope.
You know, there's a homie that always comes here now with a two-tone do-rag.
Yeah.
And they crack up because I'm like, oh, you know, that two-tone do-rag is dangerous. That's like it's a staple now. They're expecting me to say that, so he'll wear it now, and it just keeps things rocking, man. And I'll learn names eventually, but if I don't know, I'm gonna just go based off what I see.
Well, you might be hosting a fashion show here as well. You might be emceeing a fashion show.
Yes. Shout out to you, by the way. You know what I'm saying? These artist meetups are very important. I just want to say something real quick about that. That's two things that I've gotten opportunities from these artist meetups. First time we met with Devin. It was me, Darren, and Devin. She was at one of the artist meetups. She helped us get a performance at the Allentown Art Museum. You know what I mean? And that all stemmed from these artist meetups. So yes, due to the last one, there is a great opportunity. I'm going to be emceeing a fashion show. I'm going to be ironing out the details this weekend. And I'm excited for that because that's new for me. A fashion show should be more fun. I don't think I have to do as much hype ups or as much energy, but information's important.
But I would say stick with the fun nicknames though.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to talk my shit.
The crowd will eat that shit up.
I'm going to talk my shit. Like if it looks, just like I said at Break and Steal, nothing but style event. If you ass, you gonna know you ass, and I'm for the round. So same thing with the talent show. I'm not gonna be mean or anything, but I'm gonna definitely talk my shit. You know, it's just all fun.
I'm sure they're gonna love it, man.
Of course.
And you know that's gonna be a crossover event too. You know, you being there,
yes.
and they're probably gonna be very responsive to what you do. And
right.
I'm sure a lot of those models aren't aware of the Pack Out or even the Break and Steal events, or anything else we're doing here. So from there on forth, they might start coming out to your event.
Yeah, that's the goal, man.
And this is why I'm trying to kind of cross these cultures and these audiences, because you don't know what's gonna come out of it.
Never know.
And if we all just keep to ourselves, nothing's gonna get done.
Nothing. We can't be. Look, I know we're a lot of introverts. I know artists are introverts. I get it.
You got to know when to come out of your head and get out there.
You got to know.
Go out to that social event.
Trust me, I love being by myself and creating. But we gotta open that window, guys. We gotta just go out and make.
And you know, we've touched on it several times now. But these artist meetups are so essential, and I'm actually shocked it took us so long to actually start doing these. Because it seems like such an obvious thing to do, but literally no one's done it.
Yeah,
the entire 15 years almost I've been doing art events. I've never saw one of these going on.
And that's a testament to the first one. Remember, like no promotion, no flyer, dude. Just word of mouth over what? Like 50 people? Like
I was like 75 artists.
75 art, bro. Come on, dog.
Yeah, we expected we were like maybe 30, 40 artists, and we had like 75 art, and there was no online event, there was no online promotion. It was kind of a social experiment to see if we can get people out to an event in the age of social media without using social media. And it worked. It actually worked better than when we promote events on social media.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, right? Like, obviously, this is a plan to keep it consistent. At least that moment was a defining moment for what you said. Like, what took so long? I kind of feel the same way about the event, right? Like, what took so long? What were we doing? We were just focused on other things at the time, man. And
well, you were playing the long game with hosting the Pack Out.
100%. Yeah. I was bullshitting a little bit. I had to build the rapport. I had to build the relationship. Let people know what Pack was through me and others, and then from there, when it actually happened, they knew what they were going to. They knew what to expect.
And you did it right, man, because, you know, so many people, especially with podcasts, are like, who the hell are you that I have to listen to you or take your word for it? No one had to do that with you because they all knew who you were by the time you did something.
Yes, brother. Yeah, that's the goal, man, is to show you who I am when you meet me. So when I'm throwing something or if I'm doing something and I'm reaching out, inviting you, you know what to expect. You know if you would want to or wouldn't want to. You know, you'll have your answer when I ask you. You don't have to question nothing when it comes to meeting me or talking to me. You know?
Yeah. I was curious. I was thinking before when you were talking about Krumpers that you know all around the country. Where do Krumpers practice? Do they have dedicated practice spots?
Yeah, man. Not for nothing. Overseas, they have the biggest Krump event in the world. It's called EBS. It's the European Buck Session.
What country?
It takes place in France. they have a huge support system over there. The U.S. with Krump sometimes can be very stubborn amongst each other due to it being born here. There's a lot of egos that reside in the superpowers of Krump, but we've been working together, right? And I'm not in these other superpowers. I'm talking about the other bigger leaders, but they have a lot of support over there from a lot of sponsors and stuff overseas. So they have plenty of spaces that they practice in. They still do traditional outside practices too, like we do. But because of how popular dance has gotten, it's easier to get practice spaces now than before.
Here in America, you mean?
Yeah.
Now, I imagine those are actual dance studios typically.
Yeah. Typically, they're dance studios. Very rarely are they warehouses or anything like that. That requires a lot of income. But yeah, a lot of them have their own spaces as dance studios.
I like to ask that question because I like to know where artists are creating when they don't have a central hub.
Right.
I'm curious because maybe it's going to help me go out and find artists in the future.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm always trying to overturn stones and see what's underneath it. And
yeah,
there's an amazing creator living right in my backyard that I had no idea was here.
Right.
You know, it happens all the time, especially with like, you know, painters and musicians just having to like do it in their bedroom or their basement or whatever.
Exactly.
No one knows they're doing it.
Yeah, and that's how I felt for a little bit. Like when we were building Pack at first and the Krump movement, like nobody knows because we don't have a platform to display. And not for nothing, it actually started with throwing workshops in 2021. I would actually fly out different Krumpers from like the South, from Texas, from the West Coast to bring out other Krumpers to take the workshops and come to Allentown to see the city and just to show that our movement is there to grow from other leaders. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. And you know what, man? Like it really takes so little to actually make an area special. Like what you and I are doing, it doesn't really cost much money at all.
Dude.
What, maybe the cost of a plane ticket, and all of a sudden you have this culture in a city that was not there prior.
Right.
That people spending millions of dollars to build new buildings in the city.
Right.
They wouldn't even dream that something like that even fucking existed.
Exactly.
And here you're doing it for like $200-$300, man.
Yeah, bro. It's a blessing, man. It's just,
people need to be
awesome.
tapped in with the community, and just that's a thing. Like because there are no community spaces.
Right.
Everyone thinks we go on social media. No one actually lives on social media.
Exactly, bro. Talk about it, man.
We cross paths digitally. That's still not, as much as that's a part of our daily lives, that's not life.
That's not life, dude.
That is not life.
It's not
sitting
really.
Here, me looking in your eyes.
Right, bro.
That's life, man.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, if anybody would want to maybe start an event like you are running or get into crumping, like let's talk about if they wanted to get into crumping first. What would you recommend? How would they start?
Well, the good thing about nowadays and before when I started and when you can start now is there's a ton of programs you can take online. One program I do recommend is the Beastcamp.com. That is ran by Beast. He is a very, very well-known Krumper. He is one of the best in the world. And he has tremendous programs on there from various leaders and elite Krumpers that will teach you foundation all the way down from the bottom up and all the advanced movements, different lingos that come into Krump, because not for nothing, as young as Krump is, there's so much to it. There's language, there's grooves, there's level changes, there's different zones of Krump. So for example, I'm just going to show you from here, but like if I'm standing up and I'm crumping, this is the Krump zone. Okay, so everything I do here is in the Krump zone. If I lower myself and look down and go to the lower level and Krump down there, that's the buck zone. If I raise my arms up here and do stuff up there, that's the live zone. So that little bit of information alone is already like, whoa, these zones are what?
I'm glad I asked that question because that's an incredible resource. And, you know, I would point somebody to like a resource like that, even if they didn't want to learn to dance, because just watching it for a few minutes and gaining an appreciation might make you want to support it, even if you yourself don't want to become a dancer.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, Krump is very entertaining to watch. You know, there's been a few times where you're like, holy shit. Like,
you don't know what to expect.
Crazy, right? You don't know.
It's very unexpected.
And there's a ton of different people there, like all types of people. Krump, you know, there's people that look like, you know what I'm saying, that might sell this down the block, but they just Krump.
Yo, if there's a typical background for Krumpers, I couldn't tell you what it is.
Exactly. It's so different now. Like, there's a ton of Krumpers that look just like you, a ton of Krumpers look just like me. And let me tell you.
Yo, I want to see a guy in a business suit at this one. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. Look, there's a ton of them that actually have showed up to events in business suits, did a whole Smooth Criminal. Like,
nice.
it's Krump is so diverse now, man.
Nice.
And it's a testament of building up the strength of being annexed, because we were annexed for a little bit from dance communities due to the rough nature of the dance style and how young it was back in the day in the early 2000s. They're like, we don't want that We don't want that shit at our
Yeah.
event. We don't want that.
Yeah,
You know, here comes the Krumpers. That's how we used to get called when we were younger.
Oh, shit.
Our crew. We would show up in school or whatever, and that's what we were known. We were known as the Krumpers in school for a little
you
bit.
tapped into it right, man, and you are definitely in the perfect path with hosting these events. And I think you did it right, because the fact that you even mentioned earlier on in this conversation that it's difficult for a lot of people in other cities or states to get anyone else other than locals to come out.
Yeah.
But you got guys to fly in from other countries for your last one.
Yeah, brother. That was...
So you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So with the Pack Out 2 coming up, so tell me about that. I know you got more international dancers coming even than last year.
Yeah.
Where are these dancers coming from?
Well, some of these dancers, they come from Amsterdam. They come from Spain, France, Germany. We may have a few coming out, mainly just from France and Amsterdam.
Wow.
But even then, man, like, the fact that I didn't even think about this event
now
is an honor,
is
bro.
this these guys' first time coming to America?
The state, not America.
Okay.
They could be more than just them, because they might have people that be coming with them to just enjoy it. So it's all about knowing who to tell to come out or to have on your battle cards, because it's a lot more than paying those people to battle. It's who's coming with you. What are you bringing to the event, right? Yes, you could be a great dancer, but if it's just you and nobody cares to come out and see you dance, then there's no point in booking you, you know? And they're coming out on their own will, you know, just to come out and support. It's a beautiful thing, bro. Like, I don't expect this
And
either.
let's be honest, what else is there happening in Allentown that someone is flying from Amsterdam to come to Allentown?
Bro, you know, I couldn't.
Is that even a thing?
Yeah, I know. It's very. That's a
Usually
that's
people
a
from
rare
Allentown go to
accomplishment.
Amsterdam
Facts
for very obvious
For
reasons.
Facts. Look, I ain't mad at that, but it is pretty cool to have that happen. And when you put it in that way, it's like, damn, bro. Like,
this is how desperate we are for real
that's
culture
awesome.
and our
That's
own
awesome.
home. The home team
yes,
being home.
yeah, that's
This
right.
is how desperate our home is for culture, man.
That's right. Home
and they don't
team.
and they don't even know it.
Right, bro.
They don't even know
if only they knew, man. And that home team.
It's because
like,
the European sentiment that there's so much support for the arts in general, to the fact that they're supporting these niche types of business which aren't even originally founded and created in Europe.
Exactly.
And they support it more than the
Dude,
home country.
Let me tell you something. We have a Krumpers page on Facebook, and every time that discussion comes up, it gets heated, because we're like, why can't we just do something as big as EBS? And it's like, you got people pointing fingers instead of just saying, hold on, let's just sit down and do it.
Yeah.
So there is something that is in the works right now from other superpowers in Krump. One of those superpowers is Pun, aka Little Street Bully. He's the godfather of Krump. He's a very important figure in my Krump career as of recent. I draw a lot of inspiration on being a leader from him. He was actually, I'm not sure if you remember, but I'll show you after, but he was the DJ for the last Pack Out that was here. So it was that gentleman, but he's doing this like Krump championship series where like it's essentially trying to lead up to a big event in the US as big as EBS. It's what I'm hoping. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, we're trying to get to that. So the
Awesome.
US is working on it, man. They're working on it.
That's great to hear, man. Do you want to highlight any specific vendors, DJs, dancers, anything from the upcoming Pack Out 2?
Yeah. Vendors, we will have Jasmine's Kitchen. It is a vegan-based treats and hot food, and you'll have all types of foods there. She was there last year, and she sold out. She took up the table that needed to be taken up, and let me tell you, if you don't like vegan food, if you do, she'll have everything for you. And we also have just one other vendor, Gad Tribe. He is a clothing vendor. He does his own hand-stitched vests that will be there. Dude, I'm telling you, these vests are fire. I'm going to show you his
The
stuff
art
too.
of making clothing, man.
You know, and you know
Love
that hits
it.
a lot different.
When it's
They go into
handmade.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man. Like, I have my vest, and he looked out for me. You know, he sponsored me, gave me a vest, and he customized that vest for me. I'm big on customization. I'm big on things that are one of one. I'm big on that. So to have that from him, and we developed this relationship, and I said, hey, man, come out and vendor. Krumpers will love those vests. I'm telling you. He's like, you sure? I said, I guarantee it. I said, I have vendors that were random that pulled up last year that sold out just because they were there. People come out from all other states. They don't look. They see something that they never seen before. They want to take it home with them and say they got it from PA. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
That's the goal, man. So he's actually a Lancaster artist. He's a PA artist.
Dope.
So this is someone coming out from Lancaster that is for us by us.
I'm guessing this is his first time here.
His first time here.
Great.
First time vending a
It'll
Krump
be
event.
great for me to meet him then.
Oh, 100%. And you know how that goes. You know, I'm about to already link that up. You know,
That's where my mind's going.
You already know. That's where our mind always goes, you know? So, yeah, man, it's going to be beautiful, man. Those are the two main vendors. We're going to have a championship belt, high-level battles, 2 days of absolute chaos that will be beautifully constructed, and it's going to be a great time.
And it's an event that's not just for dancers. Non-dancers are welcome to come out and check it out too.
Please come check it out. You don't want to miss this. If you like anything that's high energy to keep you entertained for times and times throughout the night, 4 to 10, baby, we going to be there rocking. And you got a whole tournament to look forward to. You're going to see competitive dancing, and let me tell you something, there's nothing more entertaining than competitive dancers at this level. I'm telling you.
And I can say with certainty, unless you're from the Krump community, this is going to be totally new to you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a seeker of culture and things that are new to you, this is one of those things.
Absolutely. Especially the hip-hop heads, you know?
Yeah, this, in a way, is an evolution of hip-hop.
100%. It's definitely a part of it. Like, we need y'all to pull up and see this. So when you do your anniversaries or events, you know you're going to need some Krump in that, you know?
That's right.
Because that would have definitely got it popping off as well. Everybody. It's for everybody. Bring the kids. Kids that are 12 and younger, get it for free. You know, so please bring the kids out.
Yeah, it's $15 admission for anyone else, and then anyone kids 12 and under free admission.
Correct. Yeah, both days $15. Come out. That's nothing from 4 to 10.
It's a regardless of what some people think, this is a family event.
100%. Yes, you're more than welcome to come out. Please enjoy the entertainment, the battles, the culture. That is Krump, and that is NPA, and the Pack Out too, baby. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be great.
That's dope, man. I'm super looking forward to it. And where can people get info about this if they want to check out some videos or see some photos or just general info?
Yeah, man. So you can find us on Instagram for the flyers, you know, videos and stuff like that at PA_Krump_. So on Instagram at PA_Krump_. That is our Instagram. And also on YouTube, you can find our Pack Out footage, random battles. All of our pack content is on there under Pennsylvania space Krump, and that's KRUMP for Krump. So Pennsylvania Krump is our YouTube channel. Check us out there, and from there you can see everything we have coming up from the footage from last year, and that'll be dropping this year.
That's dope, man. Thank you for all that great info. Now, do you think the Krumpers are going to listen to this episode?
Oh, 100%. They're going to have no choice but to. You know I'm sharing this.
It's going to be like when U2 forced their music on everyone's iPod and iPhone.
Yo, that was a crazy time.
You're going to do it with the Krumpers.
Yo, listen,
you're forced to listen to Ramel's podcast.
100%. You got no choice. You better support. That's what it is.
One last quick thing before we take off. Are there any artists you want to shine a light on? Doesn't even have to be a dancer, but any artists out there that you think is incredible that maybe isn't talked about enough?
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to all of my close dance peers. Darren Barron with the filmmaking and acting. Shout out to you, brother. We make a lot of great content together. Shout out to Nothing But Style dance community. They throw terrific all-style events. That is Anthony and Emily Cordero. Those are my peoples. Shout out to Demolition Crew, DCX. Love y'all. You already know. I'm wearing the shirt right now. Beartron. Shout out to Pack, man. My family. Pennsylvania Krump Movement. We are growing in numbers. Beazthype fam. You already know. Silverbucks, Kong, everything. All my stuff, man. I love everybody. And shout out to my mom and my dad.
That's great.
Mom and dad.
I love it all, man. You know, an hour is too short for this chat.
Yeah.
So
you have me back some other time.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely,
bro.
man. Like we spent, you know, because a lot of people are not going to know what Krumping is. So I think it was really important that we peeled back the layers, which we did today.
Yeah.
And then, you know, future episodes, we just talk some more shit.
Of course, yeah. We can talk about anything else we could talk about.
We'll have a half-hour conversation just about anime or something like that.
Oh, fuck it. I'm with the shits. You know it. I'm watching One Piece right now. I'm on like episode 300 something. It's for the strong.
Damn.
Yeah, if you're going to start One Piece, you got to be strong for that shit.
300 plus episodes in?
That shit has 1,000 plus episodes, bro.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
You just broke my brain. And I love TV and anime.
And it's good though, but it's good. It's consistent, good anime.
And they're still making it, right?
They're still making it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I finally started watching that shit, bro. And I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I should have started watching that shit a minute ago.
If you're gonna binge it, it's gonna take like 9 years to watch it.
Dude, I'm kind of going too fast. I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of scary how fast.
How long did it take you to watch 300?
So I started a week ago.
What?
Dude,
How long are these episodes?
So they're 20 minutes, and I work, right? But where I work at, I can fucking watch it. So I just be propping that bitch up and working it. Boom.
You watched 300 episodes.
100%.
In a week.
Fucking right.
Could someone call Guinness?
Wait. I will say probably a week and a half.
A week and a half.
A week and a half. Yeah, a week is OD. I'm definitely looting it with a week. But I'll say a week and a half. I got that far.
You're a wild motherfucker.
Listen, this is a wild fucking anime. I tell you, that shit is fire. It's good though. It's really good,
bro. I loved having you, and I love working with you. And I'm super excited for the event this coming weekend.
Yes,
it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And for everything we can do together in the future. And anyone that's interested to learn more, please follow those links that Ramel gave earlier. We'll make sure they're in the show notes and promote it with our social media posts as well. And just a reminder for everyone out there, the Pak Out 2 is happening here at the Alternative Gallery on Friday, October 20th and Saturday, October 21st. And we'll feature dancers flying in from around the world. Come see some Krumpers. Come see an amazing community. It's an all-ages event. Entry is $15. Children 12 and under get in for free. Come out, experience something new, and have yourself an incredible time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, brother. This is
Ramel,
dope.
my brother, thank you so much for visiting Art Bazaar, man.
Thank you for having me, man. This was great.
We'll see you soon.